I'm Tracy Berry.
The drama in Portland is over, and the hijacker who seized an airplane with 41 people aboard at Portland's International Airport is dead. The passengers have been released unharmed. Authorities now say that the man, whom they still have not identified, hijacked the Boeing 727 shortly before 2 o'clock this afternoon as it descended to Portland's airport. The hijacker claimed to have a bomb inside a shoebox and was demanding that the pilot fly that plane to Afghanistan. Well, for 2.5 hours, the plane sat on a remote runway of the airport with FBI agents negotiating from outside the plane. Then, around 4:30 this afternoon, federal agents stormed that plane and shot the hijacker to death in that takeover. Once again, the hijacking ordeal at Portland's International Airport is over. The hijacker is dead. No passengers or crew have been injured. Tracy?
Hundreds of
Seattle, when a man who claimed to have a bomb demanded to go to Afghanistan.
This is Lisa Stark in Portland, Oregon. The hijacking drama, which began about 1:40 Pacific time, has now ended. The hijacker has been killed. He died of a gunshot wound. None of the 35 passengers and 6 crew members was injured. The Northwest Orient 727 was en route from Seattle to Portland when the still unidentified hijacker threatened to blow up the plane unless he was taken to Afghanistan. The plane landed in Portland and FBI hostage negotiators moved in. After several hours of negotiating, FBI agents snuck into the plane through the cockpit window. Several minutes later, the hijacker was dead. It is not known yet whether the hijacker did in fact have a bomb. In Portland, Lisa Stark for ABC News.
Here in National Airport was mentally retarded, they would have handled the incident differently. Mark Sanchez of Portland station KOIN television reports on the events that led up to the killing of 20-year-old Glenn Tripp and the safe release of the 41 people aboard the plane he held.
The drama ended swiftly on the Portland runway. It began in the air 100 miles south of Seattle during the early afternoon. A man in his 20s in a dark suit and combat boots stepped into the aisle of Northwest Flight 608 and he announced, "We're going to Afghanistan." One passenger said the man wasn't taken very seriously until he said the shoebox in his hands contained a bomb. Detectives at the Seattle-Tacoma airport disputed that claim, but the threat was enough to make hostages of 35 passengers and 6 crewmen. From 1:40 in the afternoon, Portland time, the airport fire station became a control center with the FBI and airport security poised for action. First, there were negotiations. The hijacker demanded a refueling trip to San Diego when he was told that the captive jet did not have sufficient cruising range. Throughout the ordeal, airport traffic continued, and crowds of onlookers gathered along Marine Drive. By late afternoon, the hijacker agreed to release half the hostages, and a large van arrived to make the transfer. During the switch, 2 FBI agents secretly entered the Boeing 727 through a cockpit window. The cabin door swung open, hijacker and FBI agents stood eye to eye.
The agent immediately yelled, "Freeze, FBI," and at that time the subject made a sudden motion with the box as if to throw it towards the agent. One shot was fired from our standard revolver. The box was just examined and it was found to contain no explosive device.
During the deadly confrontation, passengers continued to leave the jet by way of an emergency exit chute. Within minutes, an ambulance arrived. The hijacker was dead. Passengers and crew suffered nothing worse than a case of nerves. Amazingly, the dead man, Glenn Tripp, was on parole for hijacking the